just stole my speech. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. But this is the kismet. The Fighting 49th, this is how we all think. So, let me give you some numbers. Less than 30,000. 6, 1, and 12. And also 9. Less than 30,000 votes was the difference between us and a sizable Democratic majority in the House of Delegates this year. Less than 30,000 votes means that we pick up 9 seats. 6. We pick up 6 seats by less than 10,000 votes. 6. And less than 80, another number I didn't give you a second ago. Less than 80 means that we are at 51. 80 votes out of millions cast in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Before I go on, let me just say 3 things. Thank you. Thank you to Indivisible. Thank you to Blue Virginia. I mean, not Lilfeld.
Thank you, Lilfeld.
Thank you, Go Blue. Thank you to Flip It District. Thank you to Sister District. Thank you to every single organization that believed and fought and worked all year round. Something came out recently, an analysis of the number of seats that Ralph Northam won, but the Republican won the House of Delegates seat. In some cases by nothing, by a couple votes. It was 9 seats. But there are really 12 that should be Democratic seats across the state. 12 additional seats. And we have a lot of defense we have to play. And we have a lot of work we have to do. But as my friend Katie said, the process has to be fair.
Yes.
Yep.
The process has to be fair. We can't, 11th hour, 59th minute, come back with a new piece of information and then not allow the other side to have equal time. If people are given the wrong ballot to the point where the victory is less than 80 votes and over 140, we're given the wrong ballot, the only sensible move is a new election.
Yes.
Because too much is at stake. Far too much is at stake, and this is why Katie stole my speech. Everything from Medicaid expansion to immigration issues to, I don't know, the DREAM Act, to sensible gun violence legislation in the Commonwealth, to finally dealing with the environment, finally dealing with renewable energy issues. But it's not like we can actually make this stuff happen tomorrow. It's still 21-19 in the Senate. It's still maybe just a 50-50 split in the House of Delegates. That doesn't mean that every issue we value, every value we cherish, is going to get done tomorrow. We have to walk before we can run. We have to run before we can fly. But I'll tell you this. Every single one of those ugly, wrong-headed, just completely misguided pieces of legislation that would demonize the LGBTQ community, that would harm a woman's right to choose, that would demonize new Americans and immigrants. None of those are going to see the light of day on the floor of the House of Delegates because of what you did. 120 vetoes that we had to sustain from the governor. I'm proud to serve as the whip of the House Democratic Caucus. And the fact that we had to sustain 120 vetoes of bills like A Day of Tears on the floor of the House of Delegates, on book banning with the beloved bill, on ugly ICE detainer legislation. That's not who we are. That's not who we are as Virginians. It's not who we are as Americans. And now, because of what you did, and because of what you're going to do, protecting the vote now, and maintaining that energy in 18 and in 19, to defend the victories that we've won, we're going to go further, and we're going to go farther, and we're going to have that solid majority. And then we're really going to be open field running. Thank you very much. I'd like to now introduce a man who ran for the Lieutenant Governor this year, Gene Rossi.
Ooh, you guys are crazy. What are you doing here, December 30th? I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to tell you why I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat, born and raised from Connecticut, grew up there, moved here many moons ago. I'm a Democrat because I believe that every person should have the right to vote.
Yes.
Every person should have the right to legally vote and make it easy for them, number two. And number three, I support strongly a national holiday for Election Day. So let me just tell you a couple things about my thoughts. For 27 years, close to 30 years, I stood up in federal court and I looked at judges and juries and the American flag and I said, Gene Rossi for the United States. And what those words meant for me is that I was fighting for those who can't speak for themselves. And there are voters out there that aren't getting allowed an opportunity to speak, whether it's in Joshua's district or Shelley's district. And I just want to tell you this. I have been blessed in many ways. Blessed in many ways. And on primary day, June 13th of this year, I'm very proud to say I was a candidate for Lieutenant Governor of this great state. I'm also very proud to say that I came a distant third in a field of three. And why am I blessed? I'll tell you why I'm blessed. A great candidate beat me. Justin Fairfax beat me. And a great candidate came in second, Susan Platt. And I was honored to run against both of them. But I was blessed in this way. My wife wanted me to concede at 7:01 p.m. election night. My campaign manager, God bless him, said, wait a little bit, maybe there's some hope. But I called Justin at 7:20, I think. I didn't get a hold, he was getting calls all over the place. I conceded right away. And here's why I'm blessed. It breaks my living heart to see a close election. It just breaks my heart. And I guess I'm dating myself. I'm 61. I know I look 39 like Jack Benny. But I remember when Al Gore conceded. That still hurts me. He won by 600,000 votes. He lost in Florida by 530. It still hurts me. And the reason is, and you're all going to talk about this, elections matter. If Al Gore had been our president, no Iraq war. If Al Gore had been our president, we would have paid off our national debt. We would have paid it. Climate change. I met Al Gore several times. I didn't meet him after he conceded, and I would love to just say, you're my hero. You fought the good fight, and you were wronged. Hillary, last year, it breaks my heart that she gets close to 3 million more votes than 45. I will not use his name, by the way. I will not use his name. She got almost 3 million more votes than he did. But it's the Electoral College. We get it. That broke my heart. I'm still hurt by that loss. But let me now get to the candidates that are the subject of this rally. Joshua and Shelley. And I want to start off with Joshua. I spoke with him 4 p.m. yesterday. He was in Memphis. His godfather had passed away. And he was hurting. But he was so positive about what he's hoping will happen. And Alfonso brought up a good point about the new election. He was so positive about what could happen to his race. And I'm not going to get into the numbers, you already know the numbers. But he said on election night, his godfather called him. He passed away recently. And his godfather said, Joshua, you're going to win. You're going to win. And I said to him in that phone call, Joshua, you're going to win, and here's why. In my 27 years with DOJ, Lady Justice, I had about 15 trials in front of Judge T.S. Ellis III, who is going to be the judge next Friday. It's at 4:30. I'm going to be there. Joshua's going to be there. I hope you can go. And I can tell you this right now. The Democratic Party of Virginia could not have been entitled to a greater judge than T.S. Ellis III. Even when he ruled against me in trials, even when he yelled at me in trials, he was always right. Because he always tried to be fair and just. In the Supreme Court in Al Gore's case, no. It was a political body when they made that decision. They overruled decades of decisions. Now let's turn to Shelley. I hope you all have seen this ballot.
Yes. Yeah.
And I got some advice for you. Humble advice. And I hope you take me to task on it. If you look at this ballot, there is no, where's that rules? Recounts have rules for a reason. That's a great sign, by the way. Respect them. Alfonso brought up a great point. They reached in their bag of tricks after the record had been closed, and they come up with this piece of garbage, and that 3-judge panel, one of whom has a conflict. You know what they made? They made a political decision. They wanted a tie. They wanted a tie. This piece of garbage vote should not be anywhere in the electoral process. And here's my suggestion to you. I hope Shelley wins her judicial proceeding. She filed a motion of reconsideration. That's a tough one. If she's going to appeal, I hope she wins her appeal. If she loses, she still has a 50-50 chance. But if she doesn't prevail, and she should, I ask you to do this. Make 2 copies of this ballot. Carry one of them in your pocket or your purse at all times. Put the other one on your refrigerator. And in the election this November, and in the election for senators and delegates in Virginia in 19, and when we are going to take back the White House in 2020, and we are going to take back the White House. I want you to think of this ballot every time you make a phone call, every time you shake a voter, every time you knock on a door. Because this thing, this ballot, I don't even want to call it a ballot, that's too kind. This piece of paper inspires me because it shows the importance of one person, one vote. And going back to why I'm a Democrat, I believe in one person, one vote. Everybody should be entitled to the vote. We should make it easy. And that's why I am a Democrat, born and raised. And when I die, on my tombstone, they are going to put, he was a Democrat. Thank you so much.